Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. Get back into my, I told y'all a few days ago that I was going to be doing my predictions for the year of the different conferences. I was a couple of days off, had some personal stuff I had to go take care of, and I didn't get a chance to go back to back like I wanted to, so I'm going to be rounding them up and getting everything done between today and tomorrow, probably late tonight or whatever, and be able to put them out there for, before the beginning of the season, which is the official beginning of the season, not that Thursday night football stuff. The season officially obviously starts on Sundays. It doesn't start on a Thursday, despite what they may do. We're gonna do the NFC South. I'm gonna do the NFC South because people. I've seen a couple of different predictions of different news outlets and whatnot, and I'm like, I don't going to see that much difference in what happened from last year, in my opinion. Only difference that I basically have going on probably this year, more or less. I think I got I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take. I'm at the end of the day. I don't think the record difference is not going to be that. It's going to be just about the same as what it was last year. That's my opinion. I just have Atlanta possibly winning the NFC South. Just because of they got obviously they got Matty Ice. They have him. And that's always that's always a threat. But the main thing, obviously, is Julio Jones. Julio Jones definitely needs to get more than 3 touchdowns this year. They need to get in the end zone. As we witnessed just this past Thursday of the 12-18 loss, I'm like, Julio, I don't know if they said he was gassed. I don't know what it was, but even when they first went down there to the red zone and got on the 3 or 4 yard line, I'm like, you mean to tell me he's out the game? I don't get that. Whether he's gassed or not, make him a decoy, make him something. But for him not to even be in the game, one of the best in the game, top 2, you can argue between him and Brown. But for a physical specimen and what he can bring in the red zone, I don't get that. But they got Freeman, Devonta Freeman, and everything like that. Coleman back there, fullback. They still got the center. They got the center Mack and everything. And like I said, Alex Mack. And their offensive line is it's good. They have a nice running the ball. They got Mohamed Sanu. And then they ended up getting Calvin Ridley, another Alabama guy who'll be a dynamic receiver in Alabama. So we're gonna see what guys are gonna go over into pro ball. You go over into their defense. Their defense is pretty nice. They're young. They were young when they played the Pats a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever you want to go, the 2017 Super Bowl, and they got some players there. And I just honestly feel though when you start to talk about them and what it is that what they go about and what they do on their 4-3 defense and whatnot. You got Vic Beasley. He's something. I mean, he's coming into his own. You got Jones. You got Jones. You got Deion Jones. Right? These guys are some players right here. There's some serious. There's some very good players, and like I said, they're young, which just makes them so scary. They're young, and they played good ball the other night enough to actually win the football game. But they can't. But Atlanta couldn't get the ball in the end zone, so that's an issue, obviously. That's a major issue, especially being that they didn't pay Matt Ryan all this money, even though it didn't last that long. Insofar as being the highest paid, and then somebody else come and get the money again. You still got Trufant back there in the back, Desmond Trufant. You got him back there in the back in the secondary, and in the secondary and whatnot. You have what's the other gentleman name? You have some good, like I said, good players, and I think their strength is obviously their front seven. In my opinion, they got some hell of a linebackers. They got some good defensive ends / outside linebackers, whatever you want to call them. These guys can play ball. I still think they're going to eventually that they could actually win the South. I'm gonna give them a 12. I'm gonna possibly say 12-4. I'm gonna say 12-4. That's what I'm gonna go on a limb and say 12-4. Next, we're gonna review the Carolina Panthers. I've seen a couple of different outlets to go 8-8 with them. I say I don't really see why, because it's like the funny thing. Obviously, Carolina goes as Cam goes. Everybody pretty much knows that Carolina goes as Cam goes, and everybody want to talk about Cam didn't. You're talking about someone And let's just get to this right now. You know, he's the starter, stirs the drink. You get a healthy Greg Olsen up in there. I am looking forward to to the kid DJ Moore from out of Maryland. Saw him play him in the area. Saw him playing everything. I'm looking forward to seeing him and them giving a threat down the field, catching the ball, and being dynamic after the ball is caught as well, and being able to stretch the field. Something that Cam definitely needs to have. Funches, we'll see what happens with Funches. I'm thinking Moore probably can uproot him. I don't know. You have Smith at the other wide out position. You got Torrey Smith at the other wide out position and everything. So we'll see what happens with these guys here. But I'm still going to always be on the fence with McCaffrey, just simply because he's not really built like that of an NFL running back. He's kind of like he's a tweener between being that of a slot and being that of a little running back. He's like what we call back in the day a slot back or something like that. I mean, he's a slot or a wing back or whatever. He can kind of do both and everything, but he's not going to give you. You're not going to get 25, 30 carries for him and all this other kind of stuff that everybody's thinking that he's going to get. It's just not going to really happen as far as that goes there. In my opinion, you can get 10 or 15 touches, few running, and get him some pass plays and get him out in the open, have him on kick returns, have him on punt returns, get him out in the open field. That's where he does his work at. But going back to the stuff with Cam, and of course they're pretty solid up front. With Khalil, Turner, Williams, and Larson up there up front. Now, my thing, like I said, again, going to Cam, I did a piece on Cam when they were just talking this mess about him after that of the loss to the New Orleans Saints. Cam played spectacular. And like I said, if it's not Funches who said he lost the ball, if you remember, when you lose, nobody remembers those other kind of plays that happens. But you remember the ball, Cam throws the ball down there. This is about 2 minutes or so left in the game or whatever. And Funches say he lost the ball in the lights. Any really solid wide receiver would have caught that ball. Carolina could have easily won that game. Easily. Without no question. But I'm still on Cam because that's what everything is always goes right up behind Cam. If you look back and see what Cam did last year, okay? Cam, 59.1%. People say, you got to do better. Well, he threw 59%, right? He threw for 22 touchdowns. He had 16 picks. Okay, that happens. He threw for 3,302 yards, 22 picks, right? Now, what he also did, when you look at from that perspective there, and this is where they lose sight with Cam. This is where they lose sight with Cam at. Then you go into rushing. He rushed for 754 yards and 6 touchdowns. So this is someone that accounted for 28 touchdowns. This is what he accounted for, was 28 touchdowns. So, and just about over 4,000 yards of total offense. I mean, you don't have many guys doing that or can't do that. That's his dynamic. That's who he is. You can't compare him to too many other guys. That's what it is, especially with his size. That's his ball game. That's what it is. Now, this is what Cam, having North Turner coming in to be able to do the things that he's getting ready to do to settle him down, check down, and go from there so he doesn't feel like he has to win the ball game, so he can sit back there and be a pocket passer. But he still is going to have to beat Cam to still run, just to scale him 4 or 5 times and get him 35, 40 yards. That's all he needs. Every now and then he might have a 50-yard game, but he still can rack that up because that's who he is, and let him be who he is. With them, 11-5, possibly 11-5. And I got them placed, and this is going to trip a lot of people. I got them going second. I got them finishing second. New Orleans Saints. And you said, man, the Saints, they got this, they got that. Yeah, they have a lot of things and whatnot. We will see what happens with the Saints. With them, we will see what happens with the Saints. Saints, like I said, possibly they might win 11 games, 10-6, 11-5, whatever, around in that thing. Like I said, I don't see that much difference in what's going to happen. What happened last year is going to happen this year with them guys. You look at them. Right? You look at them on offense, like I said, for 3 years, 14, 15, and 16, Drew Brees put up these phenomenal numbers, and they was at home. Okay? Last year, because you have Alvin Kamara, okay, and Ingram is back there as well, right? That was the dynamics that he needed. See, he didn't have to throw for all those yards and throwing for 5,000 yards and 30-some-odd touchdowns and sitting at home. You follow what I'm saying? He didn't have to do that. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I still to this day say, oh, they gave him 2 years, 50 million. I'm like, he shouldn't get 2 years, 50 million. In my opinion, that's just the way I look at it, right? But you look at what Drew Brees did last year: 4,334 yards, 23 touchdowns. Cam had 22, but that's neither here nor there. He had 22. Okay, he only threw 8 picks because, again, Brees is almost like that John Elway thing. John Elway does not get 2 Super Bowls back to back if it's not for Terrell Davis. They're not in the NFC Championship game. They're not in the NFC Championship game if you don't have Kamara playing ball. And then we're not even going to talk and go into that of the defense, obviously, because that's the best defense that the Saints probably had in a very long time since their Super Bowl run some years ago. You got Unger up front, you got Warford, and you got the kid from out of Wisconsin, Ramsey, him, right? You got Thomas at the wide out, and you got Ted Ginn Jr. who can still stretch the field for you. You got Michael Thomas and whatnot. So the thing about so their stack, but their strength is going to be their running game and what them other dynamics that guys like Alvin Kamara and what Mark Ingram can possibly do. You go over into defense. Right, we jump over into their defense and everything. Their defense, hey man, Jordan. You got Jordan. You got you got Cameron Jordan. From Cameron Jordan, you got Rankins up there. You got Davison. You got Okafor. Patton will see what they're gonna get out of him. He probably still have a little bit left on the tire. Alex Okafor, and be able to try to see what he can possibly do. Alex Okafor. You got Davis, you got Teo, he's up in there, he's coming up there. But their main thing obviously is Marcus Lattimore, the rookie sensation from last year. Right? Marshawn Lattimore. We'll see what he does as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was, like I said, him and guys like Jordan and some of them guys up front and up front. Some of them guys, they made, they definitely, they made Demario Davis. They made an impact on that team last year and whatnot. So that'll be what it is. But like I said, again, just because, and my reasoning behind what I'm saying is because of Drew Brees' age, because it's going to happen. Everybody's not going to be Tom Brady. Everybody's not going to be him. And you look at it. If it gets to a particular point in time when they're roughing him up and getting at him and stuff like that, we'll see what happens, because it can just go off the cliff just like that. And you don't have the arm stretch you don't have this no more. You don't have that. But if what's going to also keep them alive, obviously, is going to be their running game and the other dynamics of guys like Kamara and the wide receiving crew and stuff like that. But I don't think, but I just don't really see them. I just see his age eventually will end up catching up with him. That's just my take on that. Go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not really much to say there. Like I told you, I ain't gonna go into depth with a lot of people. Like I said, I did a piece earlier on Jameis Winston. He got to get it together. He's literally about to get him. He's jacked himself up out of a job at the end of the day with this 3 or 4 game suspension that he's going to eventually end up having and whatnot. They got a couple of decent players on their team and whatnot. Like I said, we'll see if Winston can get it together. They got Mike Evans. They got D-Jack, right? They're relatively young squad. You get Mike, start finding ways to get Mike Williams that ball so he can go ahead on and be a dynamic receiver like he really is. Like I really think he could be one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league. And you still got D-Jack that can run. That can run. And I just think they really need to. They really need to try make sure he gets off into some type of space so that he can make some things happen. There's no reason why this man shouldn't be, catching, just getting the ball in his hands and making plays. There's no reason for it. And Jameis Winston got to get his act together. Like I said, he needs to grow up. Their defense, you got Pierre Paul over there. You got Pierre Paul over there and whatnot. So, him, see what's left with him, see what he's going to do again. But it's like few and far in between with these guys and everything with them. I don't know a lot about them, don't see them play that much. But, like I said, you got Gerald McCoy and got guys like that. But we'll see what happens. But I see them finishing last because their quarterback issue is an issue unless they do something. Again, like y'all got to also realize this as well. these are predictions. Things are always subject to change. This is just what I think and whatnot. I don't make no bets on this and stuff like that. This is what I think on who's going to possibly win that particular division, that particular conference over there and whatnot. And I don't think it's going to be that different. It's not going to be that different than really what happened last year, playoff wise. I kind of see, because give and take, that's to me, that's possibly like the best conference in the NFC, top to bottom. So all three of those teams out of that conference was all in the playoffs, and I didn't care whoever got into that in the NFC Championship game, or whoever, or whatever. Even if Atlanta would have beat Philly, I still said NFC was going to win Super Bowl. I still got that. So I honestly, feel that way. So that's who I picked there. Like I said, Tampa Bay, 7-9 maybe or something like that. They might be a little better, but that's kind of my picks with those guys. I don't really see that much difference going on over in there and whatnot. There's going to be a transition, like I said, a little bit for Carolina. I think Drew Brees' age is going to end up showing up on him. I really do. I think they're going to get after him this year and everything, and they're going to have to. He's going to still be Drew Brees. I got that, but I just think it's that time. You can't play forever. All right, guys. Be back in a few minutes. We'll catch up with you later.